President Trump has faced the most vicious onslaught of negative attacks by the mainstream media of any president in history, but he's punching back twice as hard, and now, CNN is left reeling after Trump launched a devastating attack they will never forget. Donald Trump came into office in spite of the largest wave of negative attacks and press coverage of anyone to have ever sought the office of president. No one within the media establishment was for him when he ran for the Republican nomination in 2016. And when he reached the general election against Hillary Clinton, he faced even more brutal attacks than before as nearly every major network across the country pulled out all the stops to give Clinton the White House. They failed, and since taking office in January 2017, Trump has had to continue to fight the mainstream media on an almost daily basis, from making outright lies about him and his administration to spinning facts in a way that paints his team in a negative light. The mainstream media has continued to show just why so many Americans have so little faith in most major networks and newspapers across the country. But the media's attacks on Trump haven't gone unanswered. Trump has figured out how to work around liberal networks like CNN, NBC, MSNBC, ABC, and more. And unlike many past presidents, he doesn't need to take his message to the usual outlets to get the word out to the American people. Instead, he has a Twitter account that has over 60 million followers. The president doesn't need the mainstream media for anything. They need him to continue driving their biased stories that fit their agenda. But as Trump's audience continues to grow and TV outlets continue to lose viewership, Trump is now in a position to hit back against the liberal media like never before. And that's exactly what he just did when he launched a brutal wave of attacks against CNN this week on Twitter. The Hill reports, President Trump on Monday lashed out at the media, targeting the Washington Post in particular, as he remained fixated on coverage of his ongoing attacks on 4 progressive congresswomen. The mainstream media is out of control, the president tweeted. They constantly lie and cheat in order to get their radical left Democrat views out there for all to see. It has never been this bad. They have gone bonkers, and no longer care what is right or wrong. This large-scale false reporting is sick. In a follow-up tweet, Trump summed up the state of the mainstream media in just a few words. Fake news equals the enemy of the people. The president's attacks on the entire media apparatus are hard to ignore, but they come at a time when CNN is now being joined by other outlets as well that the president is getting increasingly fed up with, including the Washington Post, New York Times, and others. The Amazon Washington Post front page story yesterday was total fake news. They said advisors wrote new talking points and handed him reams of opposition research on the 4 congresswomen. Now really, does that sound like me? What advisors? There were no talking points, Trump said in a follow-up tweet, except for those stated by me, and reams of paper were never given to me. It is a made-up story meant to demean and belittle. The Post had no sources. The facts remain the same, that we have 4 radical left congresswomen who have said very bad things about Israel and our country, the president concluded.